All right, Paula. I'm going to record this and post this for everybody, and that way other people can get some ideas as well from this. This is a doozy. This is a really tough one, and honestly, I don't expect that you guys are going to be able to correct something as nasty as this orange band on the right perfectly. I'm more looking at some other localized corrections. But let's try this. Let's just play with it, just to show you some possible tools, and then even some tricks to try and deal with that. So the first thing we got to do, of course, is we're going to make a selection just of the color. So I'm just using quick select here just to do it. Now it's okay that it's not selected perfectly, because I know that it's not going to work perfectly. I'm going to have to work with oh darn it, there we go, with a layer mask, and maybe even layer some additional information. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to play with hue saturation and just see if I can't just neutralize that nasty color and maybe even make it more of a grayscale. So I created a hue saturation. It automatically created a layer mask based on the selection that I had. I'm just going to knock the saturation back and maybe darken a little bit. And it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's perhaps better, and that's what we're looking for here, is improvement. I'm looking for problem-solving skills more than anything on this project, not necessarily that it's perfect. So there, I've made some kind of correction. It's a little bit better maybe, and now of course the mask is not perfect, so I might just go back and just clean the edge. I'm just painting black here, and actually that did a lot better than I thought it would. Oh no, I can't do that. So that's not that horrible, especially if I just kind of like work with that line there. Obviously it's still too bright over there, and then there's some weird tonal things going on here, but let's play with that now. So now I'll make another selection. And I was on the wrong layer, so we'll try again. There we go. And now maybe let's play brightness contrast. Let's take the brightness down. Maybe, let's see, maybe even a little darker. And it's bringing that red out, but we'll deal with that. Actually, you know what? Let's not use brightness contrast. Let's try something else. Let's shoot from the hip here. What do I want to try with this? Actually, you know what? I will go back with that brightness contrast. I'm not thinking of what else is going to be better, so I just want to darken it, play with the contrast just a little bit, see what that does. Unfortunately, that's giving me some color issues, so I'll probably just darken more than anything with it. And of course, now I get that crazy edge with it again. The problem is that I can get rid of the color, I can neutralize the color, but I'm still going to have this strange lighting. It's probably going to take some additional trickery, essentially. It's not going to be perfect. So let's just play with this a little bit more on the layer mask, and then I'll show you what I might attempt with that. Oop, I hit the wrong. There we go. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer entirely. That's what's going on. Because Control Z, back to that layer. There we go. And I'm still doing the wrong thing. There we go. That's what I really wanted. And so now I'm getting, I may be able to clean that edge up a little bit, but I'm darkening on the outside, which is undesirable. We really don't want that. So, we can go from this to this, and that's an improvement, but obviously there's still some serious issues here. We still have some yellow up here. This transition area is the biggest problem. And where we probably could try to do some clone stamping and basically stamp from here all the way across, clone stamp from here all the way across, which, if you really care about the background, you can do that. That's not a terrible idea. It can be recovered that way. It's difficult, it's time consuming. I'm going to show you just, basic kind of trick that, I might just create a new layer, and this is, I'm using gradient that goes from black to transparent, and we might just do something like this. And just do it a little at a time, and just kind of darken that. There we go. And that might be too much. Maybe I'll just knock it back just a touch. Well, I can't knock it back too much because it's just going to let that show. So, you know, ideal? No, it's not ideal. It's not exactly what I would want done, but it kind of deals with it. Obviously, that's just pretty much the same thing as cropping it out. In some cases, that's what you have to do. But like I said, this project is about problem solving. It's not about making a perfect photograph. It's about trying to find solutions to problems, you know, thinking on your feet, trying to come different ways to deal with something. What I'm really looking for in this is you know, color of other areas, and I think the color in this is a bit off still. Like, you know, just off the bat, if I just did like an auto levels, you know, I can see that I can get a lot brighter. You know, obviously the skin's getting washed out, and then hopefully we should be doing something with the skin individually. You remember in the rubric it talks about localized areas. Localized areas is, you know, important to this project, so you might want to actually do something with the skin specifically. Not only is this too bright, now that I've made that adjustment, it's also too cool. It's just too blue. I mean, skin's not supposed to be blue. So and I hope you'll forgive me here. My selections are very crude because I'm trying to do this quickly. You should be taking more care and doing this faster, or excuse me, slower and more deliberately than I'm doing this. But you know, at the there's the formula that I show you guys in the lectures about skin. I'm going to just do this a little bit more quickly, just because I want to try and move this along. But I'm going to just do like a photo filter, a warming filter. You can see that actually did really nicely. Just warm the skin up, and maybe just increase the density even a little bit more. So I'm getting this localized, the color back locally. And then of course, you know, you want to clean that mask up, because obviously her teeth don't need to be warmed. So black conceals, white reveals. So I'm going in there, and of course I should go in and do it a little bit cleaner, zoom in, and I'll actually zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit more. You know, obviously some grain, but you know, that's where we were. And then with fairly appropriate skin tone, and you know, from there to there, and that was just like in 7 minutes there. So that's what I'm looking for. You know, look at my panel over here on the right, and you can see, you know, this is the kind of thing I'm going to check for when I grade. Did the student use adjustment layers? 1, 2, 3, 4 adjustment layers. That just in that few minutes. Did the student use layer masks? Yes, I see layer masks, and then I'll of course check how clean the layer masks are. This is holding Alt on the keyboard and clicking on the layer mask, so I can see how clean the layer masks are. So those are things that you need to look at. And hopefully that was helpful. And you know, like I said, do the best you can. It's about problem solving. If your photo is not perfect when you turn it in, that doesn't constitute a failure. Okay? Failure means you didn't try, you didn't follow instructions. If you're trying these techniques, if you're looking for some problem solving, trying to do these things, you're going to be just fine as far as your grade goes.